I would say that the Italian market is the most developed, regulated, and one of the most crowded European markets, gaming markets. It all started some 20 years ago, so I would say it's a very well-tested model, regulatory model. All the big players are licensed in Italy. There was just a couple of months ago, there was the last tender for the online gaming licenses. And the response from the industry was quite important. We had some 50 applications. Although the tender conditions are quite demanding, the licensing fee is a hefty 7 million, plus the license terms are going to be quite challenging for the operators in terms of compliance. Additional compliance has been added. But notwithstanding all that, the response, as I said, was pretty significant. All the big international operators went for a new license. The biggest groups applied for multiple licenses. It is possible for the same group of companies to apply for up to 5 licenses attached to the various brands. So I would say that we will continue to see lots of activity on the market. The overall reshaping of the Italian market is based on what we have seen so far, is aimed at having bigger operators, but also fewer operators than in the past. This will make monitoring and supervising their activities in an easier and more effective way. And that was one of the main goals that the Italian authorities were pursuing when they rolled out the new tender rules. Yes, I think the goal was at the same time to raise good money for the state coffers, but at the same time also to introduce quite a high barrier to the Italian market. So that, as I said, only the big shoulder guys would be, in a position to either enter afresh or continue their operations. You have to bear in mind that until the last licensing round, which goes back to 2018, some 100 plus licenses were granted, most of which were granted to small operators, mid-sized operators, who since were either taken over by the biggest ones or simply chose not to extend their presence in Italy. So when the new tender was called, they chose not to apply for it. And certainly such a hefty licensing fee was one of those essential factors that led many operators, the small ones, not to continue to be doing business in Italy, while the big operators must be in Italy. As I was saying before, Italy is was the first European market, first tier European market to consistently and comprehensively regulate online gaming. And I would say for any big operation, being in that market is a must for a number of reasons. So, and for them, certainly a 7 million licensing fee, it's an important fee, but it's not something that may force them to say, oh no, that's too much for us, we can't afford it. You have to be there, and you know, all the companies that have, for instance, IPO plans, they are progressively focusing on the regulated markets only, okay? This is a trend which is, I would say, is also another must. And Italy is one of those markets. So you need to be there. Also because, honestly, although it's a very crowded market, although there is lots of competition, there is an incredible level of compliance to be tackled, but still it's also a responding market. The market is there. Italians love their gambling, and there is good business to be done if you have the organization behind you, the product, a clever marketing strategy, bearing in mind also the restrictions that we have in Italy, etc. Not just that, and you are I would say, I would not use the brutal word pushing out. I would say you are disincentivizing the small fish operator to continue to do business in Italy, because the conditions are too demanding for them. Not just the economic, the financial terms, but also the operational ones. Nowadays, running a license in Italy requires a dedicated team just for the technical compliance, which is a nightmare. And then you need other, dedicated people for the administrative compliance, AML, GDPR. Now they have also added the additional requirements under the scope of European directives, including the Accessibility Act that recently was implemented. So this means that you really need to have, a fully dedicated operation to just that market. Honestly, I think it's quite unrealistic. I've been dealing with online gaming regulations for almost 20 years now. And I remember when, together with colleagues of mine from other key jurisdictions across Europe, we were also working on a white paper laying down a good few reasons for the European Commission to try and harmonize, to provide some general guidelines for the single market. But that was just a very academic exercise. The truth is that each country across Europe is very jealous of their own prerogatives when it comes to regulating gaming. They want to be able to control the taxation the way they deem fit. The taxation model from one country to another varies quite significantly. The tax rates vary quite significantly, and that they're not going to let go. So when it comes to harmonization, it's not going to happen. The only type of harmonization that we can see is when it comes to the various elements of compliance that I was making reference to before. So we will see some harmonized rules on AML, simply because regardless of the specificity of online gaming, there are AML rules that have been implemented at European Union level across the board for all industries. So those bits will be taken on board also by the online gaming industry. But when it comes to, for instance, the tax model, each jurisdiction will continue to have their own views about it, and there is not one thin chance that things may change in the near future. Lottery is a world apart. Lottery in Italy is covered by an exclusive license. So there is one lottery license holder, which is IGT, and there is no indication that things may change. In other words, there is no expectation that the government may change direction in terms of having just one exclusive lottery license holder, who will then have an obligation to provide, to sub-license to as many other operators as they might want to offer lottery services. But the umbrella license is going to be just one, and that is not going to change. When we talk about gaming and we talk about lotteries, we have to bear in mind that lotteries are always a separate business. To give you another example, in Italy we have a full blanket gambling advertising ban, which applies to any type of advertising and marketing. But lotteries are not covered. You can advertise lotteries, which is, quite telling, because at the end of the day, lottery is a game of chance by definition. But still, lottery is not covered by the advertising ban. All other games are. I would say because it's particularly for Italy, lotteries are by far the golden cow. They fetch to the state coffers billions and billions of tax revenues. There is a strong tradition in Italy to, buy lottery tickets. This is not just Italy. I mean, you go to Spain, you go to other countries across Europe. Lotteries are always a world apart. When I attend and speak at many conferences, many gaming conferences across the world, it's quite rare to ever bump into any representatives of the lottery world. The lottery world, they have their own events, their own league, which does not really intermingle with the rest of the lot. Listen, I'm from Rome. My name is the most Roman name you can think of. Although I spend a lot of time in London, but I still consider myself quintessentially a Roman. So I can only be happy of SiGMA taking this move, crossing the Mediterranean and coming to Rome. Also because, to be honest, I think, there is a huge potential in Italy. There is, and up until now, there hasn't been much activity going on in terms of big events, big gaming events. There have been over time, there have been a few occasional shows which had been organized, but nothing that has the tremendous potential and impact that a group like SiGMA could generate by relocating to Rome. So I think it's a very clever move at the right time. It's you're going to deal with the many logistic challenges of having a big event in a chaotic city like Rome, where there is no rush hour because it's always rush hour, but it's a beautiful city. Should be a fantastic catalyst and reason for many more delegates to come to Rome and come to your show. So I think overall it's absolutely a very timely and clever move, and yes, I will be involved in the agenda. How could I not?